Sometimes my internship students will tell me the boss always scold him or her, right? I want to share my thoughts about why bosses always scold people. Right? Now, first of all, we have different types of bosses, bosses with different personality, right? In this world, in the business field. Um, this one I actually did one workshop before with the students, telling how to handle the expectation from the boss, and I share that there are different personality, and you cannot control which personality you will meet. Right? You cannot control about this. So it is good to know that bosses can be very nice, can also be very rough because there are different personalities of the bosses. So what we are going to do is, of course, some people will say, oh, if the boss always scold you, then you change your job, right? Yeah, I wouldn't say this is wrong. It is one of the way. But what if you have changed for like 10 jobs and all the bosses scold you? Then what should you do, right? Now, first of all, I would like to just I would like to just share with you what I think about the science. Cannot say the science lah. The reason behind why bosses scold people right. I guess it is to do with something in the olden days culture as well, where the senior, not bosses only, in family also the same. The senior will kind of like scold the junior. The elder one will scold the younger one. Why is that so? Why this culture actually exists in this world? I personally think it's because it is resulted from the trauma they get from the previous generation. Because all the while, this is how people discipline the young one, to make the young one do whatever that they want. So when they discipline the young one, they use a very strict way, especially for Asian culture. They use a very strict way to actually criticize, to scold you, to beat you, to some come to the extent to humiliate you, to make you feel shameful, so that you will remember the experience and you will not do the same thing again. So because of this, the culture keep passing down due to the trauma people get from the previous experience. When you are being criticized, when you are being scolded, when you are being humiliated, all these are not good experience, and it will actually leave very strong emotion on the people who experience this, who are being criticized, who are being humiliated. Because you can imagine about it. You try your best to do something, or you are doing something that you think is right. For example, you express your emotion. When you express your emotion, you cry. Or when you express your emotion, you get very angry, but you are being criticized, you are being beaten. So it is like, I'm doing something to express myself, but I got such a treatment, I got such a punishment. So to them, to that person who experienced this, it is really a trauma where they are not being supported when they are weak. Because when you have emotions, you are trying to express emotion, at that state, you are very weak. You are very weak in a way that you are mentally weak and emotionally weak. So when you are weak, especially sometimes it's not about sad or anger only, it's about afraid as well. When you are very afraid, when you are in fear, you are trying to express that you are in fear, but you are not being supported. That is really a very hurtful experience, I would say. So I will regard it as trauma. Regard it as trauma. Now, in our daily life, right, if we respond to something in a very extreme way, which is very different from what a normal people will respond, 95% is actually caused by the trauma. So I would say that is also applicable to when bosses scold the juniors, because they are being scolded previously, and they actually experience this trauma when they are being scolded. They bring this trauma along with them, never resolve it, never go and look into their emotion. They never get the chance to express their emotion when they face the trauma. And so eventually they'll express it on you. So that is how I think, it happens. This also happens in family, where your parents experience some trauma from your grandparents, and then they pass on the trauma to you. They use the same way as what the grandparents discipline them to discipline you. So you may feel like, why my parents actually, do something like this? Why my parents actually beat me while my friends never get beaten when we did the same thing? If you have these so-called questions, that may be partly because of this. It's not that your parents want it to happen on you, but perhaps they didn't know that it is actually something very hurtful for them, and they pass on to you. They thought everyone is the same, right? Everyone must face this, but actually there are some trapped emotions among them that they didn't express the emotion out, and that's the reason they have to. This is one of the way that they actually find a way out, which is to discipline you. So I guess the logic is the same. I guess the reason behind is roughly the same. So I am not telling you this to make you understand your boss or to make you try to resolve the trauma of your boss. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this for that. But if you understand this logic behind, right, you will know that it is not your fault, right? Now, of course, I wouldn't say that the boss scold you is definitely not your fault. I'm not saying like this. When your boss scold you, so-called scold you, with a context, it's like when your boss scold you for something, and that thing is valid for you to be scolded. Like, for example, you have done something very seriously wrong, and that's why you get that's why you get scolded by your boss. That is different story. That's different story. So we are not talking about that. We are talking about some bosses, they scold people every day, every single minute, for some small things or for some things that it looks right, but it doesn't match what they want. It doesn't match what they expect. That is the situation we are talking about. It's like every day, every minute they are scolding. So what makes them to be like this, right? So in such a case, right, because sometimes my internship students get very depressed. They feel like, why bosses keep on scolding me, and they cry every day. So in such a situation, why I want to tell you this is, I want to let you know that it is not your fault. It's not your fault. Everyone will have the experience of, will have traumatized experience. I would say like this. Then your boss is also a human, so he will definitely also face some traumatized experience, probably. And probably this is the reason why you get such treatment. So what I want to mention is, it is not your fault. It is not that you are really, really very bad, really, really very useless to actually get this treatment. So importantly is, please don't get yourself to be affected by the bad words or the negative words sometimes your boss will use when he scold you. Don't get your self-esteem to be affected because of this, and believe in yourself that if you can relook at the matters that he has brought up. If it is something that you did wrongly, okay, you will learn, right? Promise yourself that you will learn, and you will do it better next time. But if it is something that I didn't do wrong, I feel like it's okay, but I get scolded, then remember that it is not that you are not worthy. It is not that you are useless, right? It is just because of some other matters. If it is my fault, I will learn. If it is not my fault, then I try to, understand, or I try to remind myself that it is not, because of me as a person that caused me to have such treatment. So that is the main reason why I want to tell you about this. I'm not telling you to understand your boss. You do not need to understand your boss, but you got to remind yourself that sometimes it is not entirely about me as a person, right? Me myself as a person, I'm still worthy, and I'm willing to learn from my mistakes. So that is what you can do to remind yourself, right? if you need someone to talk to, I think it is good to find someone whom you trust to talk to express your emotion. At least it won't be trapped right inside you and keep on reminding you that you are not worthy, right? So I wish you all the best. And if one day you become a boss, it's also very good to remember this and to break the culture, to break the norms, so that your junior will not face the same thing again, right?